All right, welcome back. Another day, another reason. Let's get straight to it. So I have two different kinds of spreads right now. And in the middle, we have the King of Pentacles. So someone very stable, very reliable, very secure in abundance. Someone that, is self-secure within their own selves. On the left side, I have the Knight of Pentacles. And on the right side, I have Strength in reverse. So again, I'm gonna give you two different types of parallel worlds here in this reading. So on the left side, I have a Divine Masculine here. They're very stable, very reliable. And I'm seeing what they're doing right now is like they're healing from impulsive, chaotic relationships. There is an ending that happened here, and they're reclaiming back their power. They're building up the structure all over again. They're currently right now building in silence, building their safety and foundation because something ended. There is a completion that happened here. And right now they are exhausted. And they're just needing to rest and integrate the lessons that they've learned. And again, this could be you or this could be someone. Let you know, this can be vice versa. This is the stable, reliable, Divine Masculine. They build slowly and steadily. And on the right side, I have a Divine Feminine here. I'm seeing lack of clarity, suppression of, your intuition. There's also this disimbalance when it comes to emotions, trying to control them. A little bit of emotional manipulation or a little bit of deception going on here. There's something that they're not being able to see clearly. But it's because they're still clinging on to this old foundation or structure. There's an ending that happened here, but there was a tower moment. Something collapsed. There was a structure that was not built on stability and it collapsed, and they're still not yet ready to release or let it go. Or they're in the sense of denial still, but they're still, and the reason why they're still clinging on is because there's still this need of sense of defending themselves or still proving themselves. But there's just a lot of emotional exhaustion happening here with the Strength in reverse. But the overall message here is just even if this is someone that that you were in close relation, or if this is you and yourself, at the end of the day, this is self-mastery, mastering yourself and regaining back that trust in spirit and the divine, and allowing yourself to build from steadily action and stable waters. I kind of lost my little train of thought right now. But it's you as you're building and reconstructing yourself and allowing yourself to have the shift in perspective, because perspective is key here. Because as you surrender control, because on the right side, this Divine Feminine is still holding on to control. There's still a cling of safety and security because something abruptly changed. And I can tell they have issues with change. They're not comfortable with that. And again, completely normal. It happens to the best of us. But this Queen of Wands here, it's reminding you of the inner spark, that confidence, that bright vibrancy. This Divine Masculine was inspired by this bright, vibrant, Divine Feminine. But there is a change of perspective happening here. And my spirit's saying there is so much more for you here. There's this internal exhaustion. You're tired of being in this battlefield. But they're showing you there's a lot of emotional resilience here. You're very resilient. And then you're finally recognizing that yes, you are not caged up. It's just limiting belief systems and your thoughts. And so what Spirit's saying, with this change in perspective and you recognizing and remembering back again your inner spark, your inner light, as you're allowing yourself to be in that flow state, building from trust and faith and not from control and fear, you're going to be crowned with a lot of wisdom, crowned by the spirit team. There is a coordination that's happening here, and this is all the spiritual initiation that's happening for you. And this could go for both parties here. There was a big lesson here, a cycle that ended because of you guys are integrating each other's energies with each other. But it was all for the specific sense of mastering yourself, so that way you stop attracting these kind of energies into your life, and so that way you can reclaim your power back and gain a new sense of structure that's not built on the past. Yeah, I said that. That's a great summary. I like that. And again, I pulled a few other cards because let me show you right here. I have these cards pulled out. And I pulled these other cards, and this is definitely having to do with the divine counterpart. I am seeing like there's a timeline jumping happening here and a lot of emotional releasing going on. And again, this can go for both parties. I'm just seeing still a little bit of resistance having to do with the divine feminine here, which again, it's going to take some time. It's going to be a process because they're still on the defense. They're still on the defense, but that's okay. I'm seeing like there's like, you know, this divine counterpart, like they're having like a timeline jump. Like there could be a lot of business ventures, a lot of like business being presented to them. They're expanding and growing as an individual. But at the same time, you know, there is like a shift like in, you know, what they've been consuming, who they're surrounding themselves in, new energy, new atmospheres, new environments, new diets, new shift in perspective and reality going on. But there's still that big emphasis on like, you know, there's a lot of emotional releasing happening here. And this can be both parties. And there's just like a lot of like healing your wounds. As I'm saying, like you're rebuilding your structure and foundation into like going back into like safety, in the sense of like, like that sense of like safety is like building that inner structure within your own self to feel self-secure within you. Building that inner confidence that you're going to be adaptable wherever you go and whatever happens, and having that faith within you. And I'm seeing like as you're healing and releasing these emotions, is going to help you with that, getting back into your heart center, activating your heart chakra, because you're releasing and letting go of this baggage. And as you're like releasing and letting go of this baggage, like as your heart chakra is being activated and you're getting back into flow state, back into like, you know, connected with divine source and spirit, there is something that divine's like letting you know, like listen to your intuition, because I am seeing that you're re-tapping back again into your intuition. If this is for the divine feminine, like you're re-tapping back again into your intuition because there's been a suppression or ignoring of your intuition. So there's something that's going to be revealed to you in regards to like a workplace, because there is answers coming through. Or this could be like someone in regards having to do with like, you know, work environment, maybe being part of like the same kind of like, you know, community, whatever the case is. But something's going to be revealed here. And with that being said, I hope this reading resonates and it gives you this clarity in the sense of like, you know, although you go through changes and although changes are not easy or, you know, palatable per se, it's part of life. And what Spirit is wanting you to do is like build that sense of trust within yourself and have confidence that you are going to make it through, and that power is not gained through like, you know, control. It's gained by faith and trust. And this is what you're being taught. You're releasing like these limiting beliefs that you've been having, these intrusive thoughts, the scarcity mindset, and finally recognizing that, you know what? This entire time, it was just your mind making you think that you were caged up, that you were closed, that you didn't have any opportunities, that you weren't actually abundant or blessed. And, you know, this is all having to do with, like, you know, old traditional ways, because we also did get the Hierophant. So, you know, maybe because of traditional values or because of the way that you were raised, you know, you're fighting that fog, that confusion, this turbulence that's going on. But again, just release control, allow yourself to go into that flow state. And I'm pretty sure at this point, you already know what you're still holding on to. It's just a matter of fact of you like getting to the terms of it and allowing yourself to like process it through fully. So that way you're not in this like moment of like, you know, resistance. I am also like, another thing that I also did pick up on this reading is like your divine counterpart, like on both ends, you and them are put in a pause right now. You guys are in a pause state. Before like fully integrating or getting like into unison with each other, like you guys are both integrating these lessons and recognizing like, oh, no more getting into like, you know, these kind of like relationships out of impulsivity or instant attraction, whatever the case is. And here for the divine feminine, like no more suppressing or letting your boundaries be stepped all over, you know, being in that emotional regulated states, being confident in like, you know, your intuition and your how yourself knows best for you, and having like this sense of like finally having trust within your own self, and no more being on the defense, just being accepting of like, you know, I surrender and I'm okay. It's okay to surrender. There's nothing to be ashamed about surrendering. So with that being said, I'll see you back in divine timing. I already said like, if it resonates, it resonates, and if it doesn't, leave it at the window. Do not force it. And I wish you the best of luck. Bye.